Another form of nonfiction is narrative nonfiction. By the time you're done watching this video, you should be able to write a short piece of narrative nonfiction on the topic of your choice. Now, narrative nonfiction actually comes in a handful of ways here. We could have a whole autobiography where I tell my own life story, or a whole biography where I tell someone else's life story. Or I could have a short memoir, which is a focused piece on my own life. Or I can start telling stories. A lot of news articles are narrative pieces of writing. They're telling stories because people like stories. We are drawn to stories as human beings. So here we are going to talk about narrative nonfiction writing. They don't have to be a full life's work of somebody, but it might just be a little story to prove our point. And again, when we're doing narrative writing, we might be describing a bit. We see this descriptive purpose here. We also might be persuading, and we're going to provide information because it's nonfiction, so it's true. So all of these pieces are tied in, but we're going to call a piece of nonfiction narrative, especially if the first purpose is to tell a story. So as always, we're going to brainstorm a topic first. I stuck with books, and then I started thinking of other ideas that link to books and novels. And once I had these ideas, I kind of took a look at them, and I found two topics that I really wanted to zone in on to tell stories about books. So my first one is this idea of trying new genres. And I will tell you, I actually started this writing as a persuasive piece. And I wanted people to be persuaded to try different genres. But then as I wrote it, I realized it was narrative. Pause this video, read this, and try to answer the question to yourself, why is this actually narrative, not persuasive? When you're done, unpause me, and I'll keep going. This piece is narrative because notice how many times I use the word I in this. I was talking about my experience as a reader and the order that I was reading books in. And in the end, I used it to convince you a bit, hopefully, to branch out and try different genres to read. But this is really rooted in a personal story for me. So this is a narrative piece of writing on the topic of books, specifically trying new genres. Let's take a look at our second narrative piece. This is another story. So pause and see what makes it a story, and then I will debrief on it a bit. In this piece of narrative writing, I was telling the story of when I got in trouble in time for reading during class. I know everyone is so surprised that would have happened to me, right? Um, this is a story. It talks about reading habits, but it's my personal reading habit experience. If you've watched the other purpose of nonfiction videos here, I've been using books as my broad topic, but I keep zoning in differently, whether I'm persuading or in this case, telling a story, or whether I'm informing, or whether I'm describing. So notice we can take one topic and retool that purpose, retool that topic depending on our purpose. So again, these were narratives or telling a story. It might be a first-person story, like my first example, where I was doing a lot of things, or it might be a story about the world, and maybe you're retelling a world event that deals with a topic that you're interested in. So you should brainstorm topic ideas, and you should now be able to write a paragraph nonfiction account with a narrative purpose, the purpose of to tell a story.